Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. Every day on the channel, we teach you how to make money with digital assets. Smash that like button on the way in. I'm your host, DZ, here with TJ, and we got some major news talking about XRP and the founder dumping on the community. We got the receipts, we got the numbers, and I have the solution for Chris Larsen, the co-founder of XRP, for him to no longer dump on you. I'm going to give some unsolicited advice to the XRP founder. TJ, are you ready for that?
I'm ready for it. Let's get it. Sounds good.
Unsolicited advice. Stop selling. No, I have a real solution, and we're going to utilizing XRP's technology. But Bitcoin is, kind of flat. The altcoins going crazy. And a lot of people are saying they know exactly why crypto is crashing. And I have the exact reason. We saw a lot of red candles this morning. Everybody's pointing at this indicator right here. There's only 20 some odd seconds. Let's go.
As a hedge against the $37.8 trillion. They want to own a debt. They want to own it for their kids. And you know who else feels that way? Me. I don't want that debt. My kids. I'm worried about my kids. Worried about your kids? 38 trillion.
Yeah, we all do. We all do.
Does he have senility at this point?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a great. I love the question there and the uncomfortable reality it kind of forces the other financial analysts to sit with. Like, you're not worried about your kids, and the guy, you can kind of feel him like uncomfortably be like, like maybe I'm not thinking about this enough, but deep down, yeah, I should be, because we're saddling the next generation with obscene amounts of debt that can't be repaid.
And throwing it on him, and now that person's kid's obviously going to be protected. I'm sure he has mutual funds and S&P 500 ETFs, but it is a good point that even Jim Cramer, the guy most plugged into the financial system, realizes that the dollar is going to collapse in the near term. So it's just an interesting clip there. And of course, everyone likes to say that's the reverse Cramer indicator there. He's now bullish on Bitcoin, buying for his kids.
So, and he said the same about ETH. He's buying Bitcoin. He's buying Ethereum. A lot of people out there saying, oh, that's it. Pack it in. It's over. Do you think that's true, or do you think it's just a meme and we're going to keep going up?
I'm torn on that one. Do I think he gets? I don't think he has maliciousness inside of him. I think what's happening is maybe he's being co-opted by malicious actors. That's my Jim Cramer theory there.
Yeah,
so when he says like, "Oh man, you should buy this," and it starts dumping, I think someone's hoodwinking him, not him purposely hoodwinking you.
I agree. My question is it the top? If the fact that he's buying Bitcoin and Ethereum now means we should be selling?
No. Long term. I mean, maybe we get a short-term pullback, but I'm starting to see a lot of bullishness in the charts. Now, folks, I want to share this post. Like I said, in today's live stream, I have unsolicited advice for Chris Larsen regarding him dumping XRP. I do have the solution that will make everyone happy, and we link the post here. We link the live stream, so if you want to help us out, get those shares. Maybe TJ, I don't know if you want to share that or get it posted here. But we were talking earlier. Why does he look like Anderson Cooper?
It does. He looks like Anderson Cooper's what do they call it? Glamour shot back in the day when he was going to a New York party.
When he first got his hair turning white at the age of 21. All right, now let's look at crypto prices here, everybody. We can see Bitcoin is up slightly now. It's up 0.5%. ETH is up slightly now. It's up 1.8%. But you see XRP with the, pretty significant move to the downside, especially on the 7-day. ETH is up 8%. Solana is up 7%. Cardano, also flat, but XRP down about 1.2% here. Solana peeled back a little bit as well. It's down 2%. Dogecoin down almost about 5%. And we keep scrolling. We don't see too many major movers until we sort it by the biggest gainers. Smash that like button so your portfolio matches this. Never mind. You don't want Story in that portfolio. But Story is up 14%. I would maybe stay away from this token. It's not one I'm interested in. But Athena also with some good pumps here, 10%. Now up almost doubled in the last month. TJ, how's your Athena doing?
It's doing good. I mean, it's been down fairly low, but it's having a huge comeback here. I can't remember. There was a big story yesterday. I know I put in the Discord of something they were doing with stable coins and yield and Aave. I can't remember exactly what it is. Maybe it's a StockX partnership thing. But yeah, it's doing fine. It's not one of my larger holdings, but it's definitely something I have some of. And yeah, it's 30% this week.
Bonk crushing it right now. I swear I almost bought some Bonk yesterday. I was actually thinking about putting some significant amount of Solana into it, and I was actually thinking about selling some of the Solana DeFi ecosystem plays because I do think Bonk is going to outperform even a Camino, even a Jito here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if you're looking for a meme coin play, if that's your thing, I think Bonk was the biggest winner of yesterday's interview with Pump Fun. You know, after a lot of people exited. If you look at the Pump Fun chart, I think if you go back, go to the top losers, you got Pump Fun, I think, is the top loser today. Or at least it was this morning.
Oh, that shows a clear shift there, and we don't see it, but right now we do have a Pump.Fun token, Fart Coin.
Not even on CoinGecko?
It may have fallen out of the top 100. You know, they do have a lot of derivatives here.
Let's see where Pump I've got it. It does come up on CoinMarketCap. It's down 22%. Yeah.
Yeah, they got it in 105. So just missing out.
Go to the 7-day. And so that right there is where that huge leg down is, where the interview happened. I bet you'll see a very similar uptick during the
this is where Thread Guy goes live. Yeah, actually, he did go live 1 p.m. Pacific time, so he went live 4 p.m. and that's going to be 16 o'clock. So it started dumping literally right before, basically right then. He went live. They didn't like what the community did not like that interview.
And they moved towards Bonk. And I can even show, let's see if I've got it right here, some volume on this. I'm not a huge meme coin person. But if I was choosing between Pump and Bonk at this point, Pump Funds revenue, daily revenue, obviously this is nothing bad, but it's down to 450. It's very low compared to what it was. Bonk up to 2 million. Seems to be that they've got I don't know. I just feel like they really missed the mark when it comes to Pump Fun in a lot of different ways. They didn't even stream the interview on Pump Fun, which to me seems just crazy. So, I mean, I'd say
so. I watched the Thread Guy Pump.Fun stream yesterday. Here's if you want to follow Thread Guy, go give him a follow here. Not Thread Guy is his account, and there was a few questions were answered. Will there be an airdrop? He said, "Well, yes, we have confirmed it. When will it be?" He said very, very vague, but not immediately. That was the quote there. So not anytime soon is what people are speculating. And when they said, how big will it be? He said it will be significant for the community. And so those were kind of the concrete answers that he gave in that interview.
Anybody who's been here for a while, I think this is probably when people immediately started exiting. Anybody who's been here for a while means or knows what he's saying is the airdrop is going to be either in the bear market or mark the beginning of the bear market. It's not going to be anytime soon, and it's probably not. If it's going to be, it's probably not going to be significant to any one user. Like the power users that are working really hard streaming there right now are probably not going to be rewarded the way they want to be rewarded.
Yeah, we're looking at the numbers before the stream. Bonk.Fun is taking a lot of the share away from Pump.Fun, and right now it looks like about 4 traders on Bonk.Fun for every 1 trader on Pump.Fun. That's kind of the breakdown there.
Real quick, just wanted to answer this question here. Who pays us to shill shit to, I don't know if that's a goat or sheep. It's nobody. We're not really shilling any of this stuff. We just said don't buy it. But our only sponsors, our partners are Bitcoin IRA, which is a tax protection vehicle. Everybody should have this. If you don't already have some Bitcoin in an IRA, you should check it out. The link is in the description. And then Arculus, a cold storage hardware wallet. So those are our primary partners here. We don't shill specific tokens or things like that. Every once in a while we have in the past.
Wait, so Chainlink isn't giving us any money? I'm bullish on Chainlink. Sergey, I'll take some money if you want.
We would take money from Chainlink. We would take money from Ethereum, Cardano, Curve, Arrow, Morpho, all of our favorite coins. Anybody that wants to pay us, we would take them for. Just don't call me if you're another gambling site or if you're a million market cap token that you want me to show.
For the 18th DeFi solution, that's just maybe not fixing much of anything.
Nobody pays us to bash XRP. We just all we're doing is reporting the news. The founder sold a ton of it. So if they want to pay us to tell you guys that, we take some.
All right. Well, let's get into the XRP news. Then we're going to roll over into Bitcoin. Looking at the XRP chart on the small time frame, you see XRP bouncing strongly off the support, fell below a little bit ago. I'm not sure. I believe I drew this out on when the last night's video. So this is maybe a 20-hour old trend line that I've drawn out. So you can see the bounce. I think I was putting it right here. Fell a little bit below. Did we close a 4-hour candle below? Did not. Wow, look at that. Look at that. It's almost like other people were staring at this particular area. And this is going to be a log chart trend line, if I'm not mistaken there. So looking at what XRP, oh, no, that's the potential breakout. We're looking at some bull flag pennants there. But back to the small time frames here, looking at XRP on the 10-minute. What is going on? XRP starting to get a little bit of strength. RSI starting to move to the upside, and we definitely saw some very strong bullish divergences. Man, that was a really good trade right there. Did not have a trade on that, but I do have an Aave trade. We still have the Aave trade open.
Yeah, Drew was saying to check it earlier.
Doing pretty good. Yeah, we had additional entry, if you remember, an entry at 288 and an entry at 286. Because the entry at 286 was larger than the entry at 288, you can see it pulled a little bit closer because this was, a larger position. And right now, hey, we're just in profit and just enjoying maybe a little steak lunch off that a little later. But let's talk about Ripple. And then I'm going to give my advice for Chris Larsen on how he can fix this issue so he no longer has to dump his XRP. And a lot of people aren't even aware that Chris Larsen, the co-founder of XRP, dumps his Ripple tokens here. So we're going to get into it here. Someone even sold their dog for XRP. Hopefully you're talking about the meme coin on Bitcoin. If you sold your actual canine, I'm going to take your XRP from you because we don't like that. And I'm going to bring it back to the shelter, and I'm going to force you to take care of that dog there.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to read Jay's comment because I agree. He says, if DZ doesn't get paid by ADA, he needs to speak to Charles Hoskinson. He puts in the work for Cardano. That's true. If you're out there, Charles, IOG, Midnight, Cardano Foundation, all the different players in the game there, if you want to pay us, you definitely should. We shield Cardano probably more than almost anybody. So.
Yeah, and we have had him on the channel before. My wife met him, and you know what my wife asked Charles Hoskinson?
What'd she ask?
Are you a Swiftie?
And what'd he say?
He had a very political answer. He said, it's hard to argue with her success, given everything she's done. I mean, she is a billionaire. And so he, just like, hey, she's a billionaire, obviously successful.
Yeah.
He didn't answer the question, though.
He's smart.
He's smart. That was a really good answer there. But let's talk about XRP dumping, everybody. Ripple co-founder is now under fire for moving $175 million worth of XRP near the highs. He shifted 50 million XRP to exchanges just as things started to peak here. And so this was 175 million, and he did it between July 17th and yesterday. This sparked backlash from the crypto community amid a pullback in the price. Now, even Zach XBT flagged the transactions in a Thursday post on X, noting that $140 million worth was sent to centralized exchanges or services. This is the post right here. He's got the receipts, he's got the addresses, but what I found funny was the response. It's baffling how much they have, and people still buy this S. He said wallets linked to Chris Larsen still have another $8 billion worth of XRP. So there still might be more selling there. That's just, just one of the takes out there. Now, XRP currently trading around 309, has a market cap of 183 billion. That means Chris Larsen's bag, 4.6% of the total market cap, which could obviously create some very strong selling pressure if he were to move this amount rapidly. Now, he's being accused of dumping XRP near the local high because the timing is drawing criticism. So it came right as it hit the local high above 360 on Friday before falling below 310, leading some to accuse him of dumping on the market. But others are rewarding him. They said he is a Chad for dumping on his autistic fan base. Game is game. I would say the actual problem with XRP is it's the least autistic fan base out there. And maybe that's why he's able to, I don't want to say get away with this, but do this pretty often without a lot of criticism. Now, a user called Louis T argued the move was about, this is great. We need to hire this guy for our comms here. This is the best way of describing dumping XRP I've ever heard. No, he's not dumping XRP, idiots. He's decentralizing his holdings to longer-term holders to ensure a fair decentralization of the network and supply. Is that the best way you've ever heard someone describe dumping?
Yeah. He's just trying to get it in the hands of the people, He's trying to make it more decentralized. So what do you, this guy's pretty hot. He's why should we all take profits but not founders? I mean, what do you have? Basically the difference is we didn't launch the coin. We didn't create the coin for free and sell it for $175 million. And most of the time when you see founders doing that, it's not it's predatory and it's not good for the holders. Now that I will say that is a shift. We have seen a shift, which I thought this was a pretty interesting take from Nico on the changing we've seen of kind of the classes, so to speak, of people that come into crypto. 2013, Bitcoin, early retirement. Now they're just laughing at everybody, arguing online. 27, this is kind of my area. ETH OGs, philosophically driven, cypherpunk building towards infinite guard. Like we're kind of in it for the technology, trying to make the world better. 2021, NFT Mania, massive PTSD from JPEGs, probably has said the word utility a million times. Used to be really into NBA Top Shot.
MU wax.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but what's interesting, 2024, trenchers sell tokens after an average hold time of 9 minutes, has little conviction, less concerned with decentralization. And it is much more that mentality that you read in that article of like, oh, he's a Chad. We should all aspire to build something that we can dump on people and make ourselves rich. Like that really is somewhat of the mentality of the new crypto trader that's in there today. It's not about improving anything. It's just like, hey, well, this is all a gambling game of useless shit. So let's try to get ours before anybody else does. The truth is a mixture of all of those things. Because some of that is true, and if you are a meme coin trench warrior, that is the attitude. But a coin to this size being dumped on individual retail at the level that they've been doing for years and years and years, to most people that understand what's going on, feels like it's not right. Now, you guys it's freedom. Anybody has the opportunity to hold whatever they want and support whatever they want, invest whenever they want. So I applaud your right to hold and do whatever you want with it. To me and a lot of these other people that watch this show, it's just crazy to think you would store your value in something like that that's just getting dumped and dumped and dumped and dumped. So, I mean, and people do make the same argument for Ethereum. A lot of the early Ethereum holders and founders have sold it off. So,
and someone, even stocks, it's like saying Elon should never sell any of his stocks.
Bezos just sold billions recently or whatever. And it's, like you can, I understand you can make that argument. I'm just talking about, I've literally watched them do this for years and years and years. When Jeff Bezos sells $1 billion worth of Amazon stock because he's built one of the most useful companies on the planet, doesn't really bother me. Ripple just hasn't really delivered anything on what they've promised. They've done well politically. They've accrued a bunch of money. They bought a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And, so there you go.
A little difference with Jeff Bezos and Elon specifically. A lot of times they'll take a massive amount of holdings, sell, they'll sell, have a big cash stockpile, and then spend it all on some other company where you're like Elon, you're sleeping on people's couches because you invested all of your money in Tesla or SpaceX, what he saw after PayPal. And with Jeff Bezos, one of his early Amazon stock sales, he then used those funds to create Blue Origin, which is a SpaceX competitor. Yeah. We don't know what Chris Larsen is doing with his money. So, if Chris Larsen creates a RWA or a stable coin company in the near term, I would be very, very happy. And I think the XRP community would be very happy. And let's get into the comment right here. So this is what I got in today's live stream. Like I said, I got unsolicited advice for Chris Larsen regarding dumping XRP. Here is the solution that's going to make everyone happy. My solution is use your actual ecosystem. He needs to stop sending this to exchanges and then selling it for fiat, aka paper money that's going to be useless eventually. There are other issues or other avenues that this man could take. I will give you two. Number one, I think he could lean into the RWA ecosystem in a major way. I would love to see Chris Larsen invest in a tokenized gold or tokenized stock platform, put that on the platform, and then instead of selling $175 million and then getting cash, put $100 million into a tokenized S&P 500 ETF. Put $100 million in millions of ounces of gold. Put $100 million in oil derivatives, pork belly futures. Put your money into the actual ecosystem, and I think RWAs built on the XRP ecosystem would be a huge way. Number two, instead of selling for $175 million, why don't you take $100 million in T-bills and tokenize, get some stablecoin, get some RLUSD on the XRP ecosystem? TJ, why do you think he's not buying gold with RWAs or real estate RWAs or creating an ecosystem, investing in that ecosystem, or maybe even just tethering up within his own ecosystem? Why do you think he's dumping for fiat? Or should he do this? What do you think of my solution for Chris Larsen and the XRP community.
I think it'd be great for XRP holders and the Ripple community, but the reason he's not doing that is because this is his personal money. This has nothing to do with Ripple. This is just he just has all of the token, so he probably is doing that. He's just putting it in his own personal hold. He probably is buying a ton of gold and real estate and Bitcoin and other things. So
why not on the Ripple why not on the Ripple ledger, XRPL?
That's a great question. Maybe it doesn't work that well for that.
Good.
It should. I agree. It should. I agree. It's just that's kind of the point I'm making. You haven't seen Ripple make the same investments into their ecosystem as you've seen other chains. And when they actually do it and deliver and ship a new project and grow and upgrade, and their foundation wants to sell 100 million, like if the ETH Foundation sells $100 million to fund the next several years of development, people lose their minds and say, they should never sell. But for some reason, the XRP community doesn't seem to bat an eye at it. So.
People are wondering, do we have any trades open? I lost the comment there. Maybe I'll find it in a second. Do we have any trades? Yeah, we got 2 trades open at the moment. It looks like they're starting to do pretty decent here. We gave you the entry points for Aave. I wish, man, I was looking at 279. I was like, there might be that last sweep to the 279 area. Wish I would have just put a little more size there in that trade. We'd be even higher. But right now, our Aave trade's up 24%. We're only doing 11x, and we're in a under 10x. We're in 9x long on Fartcoin.
Nice.
And we're up 25% on that one. So
yeah,
if I close the trades during the stream, I will let you know.
And John Dalton, I think, is either looking at or in an Aave trade in the Discord. Drew was talking about it. There is some news on Aave when it comes to base. They're coming direct assault on Morpho and Moonwell as far as competitors now that they're on base, specifically for ETH and USDC. Drew, I think Drew's going to talk about that a little bit later today in the afternoon stream, so stay tuned for that. I don't think, obviously, Aave, Morpho, and Moonwell, all channel favorites, things we all hold here. I don't think it's going to have an immediate negative impact on the price of Morpho or Moonwell, but we're definitely going to want to keep our eyes on those flows to see if it all starts flowing over to Aave.
All right, 2 questions. Please share your thoughts on Bitcoin dominance. We got a Bitcoin dominance section coming up very, very imminently. Stick around for that. And someone asking me, TJ, how do I join the Discord?
The link is in the description below this video, but I will drop it in the chat as well. And if I don't know,
and we got Eli Fuchs quoting the 1991 LA riot victim. I'm drawing a blank on his name. It was the truck driver. And he said, can't we all just get along? Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
What was his name?
I have no idea.
So, Chad, we got the smartest Chad Disco fam. Who was the truck driver that was yanked out during the LA riots in the early 90s? But speaking of stocks, speaking of RWAs, I would love to see Chris Larsen put 100 million into the RWA ecosystem within XRP, maybe even creating a new company. I would love to see him just market buy some gold, put it in a vault, and have a tangible asset on the XRP ledger. Rodney King, Reginald Tenney. Let's talk about stocks. Marty Party with a very interesting take on stocks. And I'll admit, I never really thought about it this way. You don't even own stock. You actually own a claim from your broker, and they own a claim from the DTCC. There's a clearing house. You own 2 levels of derivative when you buy a stock. So do not compare Bitcoin to stocks. Crypto, bearer asset, financial instrument where ownership is determined by possession and no central record or registry tracks the owner. Whoever holds it is presumed to be the owner and cannot typically be transformed anonymously without formal registration. So Bitcoin, even having Bitcoin on an exchange where you can see their hot wallet, that's only 1 level of derivative. It's still better than owning stocks on, say, Robinhood or E-Trade.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually not even owning that stock that you think that you own.
Yeah. Anything that's the whole premise of Bitcoin. Like you don't own the money in your bank account either. Like most people don't know that. You have a contract that says, I'm going to give you ownership, bank, whatever bank you use, Bank of America, Citibank, PNC, whatever it is. When you go deposit money, you're giving them your money. It's now their money, and they have an agreement with you that says they will give it back to you when you ask for it on a certain schedule, as long as it meets their rules, basically. And people don't even know that the money in their bank account isn't legally theirs.
All right. So people calling you an XRP hater. I think he hates Chris Larsen selling 175 million, and we should all maybe not like that. But I do give a little bit of credence to, hey, they got to sell some at some point, don't they?
And I will say I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a good investment, and I'm not shy about saying that. Now, if other people do and you make money with it, I'm a fan of XRP holders and XRP holders making money. Want to see it go up. I'm glad it hit all-time highs recently. Am I shocked at all that the person with the most of it sold a fat bag at the all-time highs? No, like it's to be expected. So, yeah, just
yeah. And Rodney King, just for clarification, Rodney King was the
guy that got beat
the
up by
victim
the
of the police brutality. I believe he was high on PCP, and Reginald Denny was the truck driver that was then later pulled out. It's all coming back to me now. But let's talk about Bitcoin. Whale Wallet woke up from the slumber yet again. We don't know if it's Roger Ver. We don't have any determination on who it is, but a Whale Wallet with 4,000 Bitcoin woke up after 14 and a half years. He did a little test transaction, $200. Guess how much Bitcoin was when he got it? 37 cents. January 2011, he diamond handed the whole time. That's one of the best diamond hand stories in crypto right there. I like this. How is it possible to hold? You're already a millionaire, don't care, or you lost your keys and gained access again. Do you think it's possible he lost his keys and gained access again?
No, I think
I don't think so either.
We're seeing a lot of these old wallets moving, and I think it's a lot of the there's a pretty small group of people that was there right there at the very beginning. 2011 is kind of almost as early as there was a price on Bitcoin, even or close to it. So most likely these are probably old wallets of an Adam Back or a lot of those guys that were there right at the very, very beginning that have tons of this is not a significant amount of their Bitcoin holdings. And so they've got a decision now to make of how they're going to move the space forward. And that's who, in my opinion, is doing a lot of these OTC deals. I mean, it's not obviously 21 Capital partnered with Adam Back's company to get the however many billion in Bitcoin that they needed recently. And so we're seeing that with a lot of the old holders. They're probably selling to these treasury companies, exchanging for these treasury companies, changing. Really what they're doing is changing who's holding it, how it's being held, and how publicly. So I think that's what's happening with a lot of these old wallets. A lot of early Bitcoin miners.
All right, and we got people talking about, I think, Tartaria, maybe talking about buildings in the U.S. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Well, let's talk about the rabbit hole of who the heck is buying Bitcoin at this point. Who is behind the rally? Is retail here? What are we seeing? So we got the crypto quant data here, and they revealed that retail Bitcoin players nowhere to be found amidst this largest rally. The other large investors, they are the ones driving the surge here. So in past cycles, retail comes in during the final phase of Bitcoin's bull run. We also, we'll get that investor frenzy, hype, and then that mass euphoria. However, since early 23, retail, they've been selling their Bitcoin. Data shows that the holdings of these investors has consistently declined since then. Currently, retail accumulation has again turned significantly negative. Conversely, the other end of the coin here, large investors have begun an accumulation trend early since last year. This group is led by institutions, high volume wallets, and ETFs. They have been aggressively accumulating Bitcoin, signaling long-term confidence in the asset. Now, I want to add a little distinction here, be Mr. Contrarian yet again. I think some retail accumulation is buying via BlackRock ETFs. In fact, I know some. I had someone, they put in 2,500 into Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF after I told him to buy BlackRock's Ethereum ETF. And so, that quote unquote is a retail trader, but now it's going to be listed on chain as large institution.
Mm-hmm.
So retail kind of is here. We're just seeing it differently.
I agree. I think it's both retail. It is. Yeah, a lot of people are buying BlackRock ETFs and stuff, which is it's kind of the more sophisticated retail. Maybe like boomers for the most part, especially now that we're talking about 401ks getting opened up. You're going to see a lot of that. But
yeah, retail doesn't want to buy 0.001 Bitcoin, but they do want to buy 10 shares of BlackRock's ETF.
I can't get into the head of a retail investor anymore.
Look, unit bias is real, and we've all been there early in our journey. Have you forgotten already, TJ?
No, I think it's not that unit bias is real. I think once you get into this, you just create an assumption in your mind that people that invest are more sophisticated when they're really not.
And some people might not know what we mean by unit bias. Unit bias is even if it's like $1,000 worth, but it's 0.0 0.009% of a Bitcoin. A lot of people would rather have $900 worth of XRP tokens because it's going to be like 300 tokens. So it's like, 0.009 or 300 of something. I want the 300 of something. You're like, no, that's only worth 900. That's worth 1,000. Like, yeah, but I got 300 of something over here.
Yeah, and that's part of XRP's success, and SHIB, that people wanting it to get to a penny or whatever. Like, it's
not going to a penny though.
It's not going to a penny.
Manager, I've told the story before. My bank manager, I was like, yeah, I want to do some things to my home. I don't want to use the bank in my bank account, so I'd rather have cash on the sidelines and just take out a quick home improvement loan. This was a year ago. I deployed a lot of it during the dips, and he showed me his wallet and it has SHIB, and he literally said, yeah, but if it goes to a penny, I'm like, yeah. You're the bank manager. Now it's a small town. It made me bearish on Paulding County, Marjorie Taylor Greene's district.
Yeah, anytime I deal with anybody in a bank, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in the past. It's just like, how do you guys, even their computer systems are stupid slow.
Yeah, I expect them to have like Morse code for communication.
By the way, somebody did ask if I have any XRP. I actually do have a tiny bit. I do hold a little bit of XRP, not on purpose, but
why'd you have to throw that qualifier on?
Sorry. I do have a little bit.
Guys, I have a little XRP.
Yeah.
Not on purpose.
I actually do have.
Damn it, man, we're about to lift you up, and then you came crashing down again.
You're right. I shouldn't have said. But I do have some. So
the haters love it though.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, me too. I didn't even want to buy it. All right, let's talk about a short squeeze. We got some levels for the leverage traders to lose all their money here. Then we're going to talk about Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin due for a massive short squeeze as Bitcoin dominance bounces to 62% here. Let me get this in. So looking at what we're seeing here. So a bounce from a trip towards 117 on Thursday. And this is trying to get a squeeze of short positions, and this is where they all start closing, and then that's going to create higher as these positions close, acts as buy pressure, which then can close another short position, which will then act as buy pressure, and they call that a short squeeze. And then there's a little explosion on the top. And now CoinGlass confirmed a large buildup of overhead liquidity, meaning trades that will be liquidated above the spot price, helped by the dip below 118. And so the leverage traders, they're coming in, they're starting to feel a little bit bearish. Bitcoin liquidity piling up on the top side. A massive short squeeze is inevitable. He had exclamation points there, so you really mean it. I went to Bybit. This is typically where the whales trade. Whales trade on Bybit a little bit more than Binance, a little bit more than Gate. Hyperliquid has weird liquidation levels that don't really help us there. I think they have some basically some risk protection built into that. But Bybit is where the whales are. And if we look... Ooh, whoa. Are we, we're starting to, we still got room to the upside. This could be a squeeze up to potentially 120, 121. And then when that happens, there will be new shorts being opened. So it might continue, folks. So that's a very, very bullish news. Now let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. I think it's actually in this article as well. So Bitcoin dominance was up 0.5% on the day, building on an existing comeback after nearly hitting 60%. I'll read this chat in a second. Rec Capital noted that Bitcoin was still holding higher ground. Altcoin market is reacting as if Bitcoin has broken down from its range, but it hasn't. And this is BTC USD. And you can see the one-day candle coming down perfectly against that resistance. Now, looking at Bitcoin dominance on the daily chart, you do see a little bit of a bounce. But I wanted to determine, is this going to take us back up to hellscape and to altcoins die zone, which is going to be up here? Or is this a short-lived relief bounce because this got a little too oversold? The best way to determine that is look at the previous large dip. And that's going to be right here. And my prediction is what we're seeing with the green candles is probably something similar to this. I think we're going to consolidate and then move to the downside. The other scenario is going to be the first cycle, where it's going to be a fake out, where essentially you come down, you start getting some green candles, and boom, create a slightly higher high before we then start dumping there. Are you leaning towards just a little consolidation, further dumping, or are you leaning towards consolidation back up to Bitcoin dominance, shooting high again?
Bitcoin I think it consolidates. Yeah, it'll move back up because we get a pump in Bitcoin, and then it breaks back down. Like not all the way back up to the trend line. I don't know if that's
maybe like here, or maybe like to here.
Yeah, it's almost like that second one. See where that spiked up for a second and then fell back down immediately. Something. I think we'll see something like that.
Okay, a little scam wick, huh?
Yeah. I'm curious to hear your opinion on this because I basically agree with Rudy on this one. He says, personally, I don't think we've even started. Just like the last 3 cycles, it's going to come late. I was looking at the rainbow chart on that. You were showing it a little bit yesterday on CoinGlass, looking at the 2017 cycle. The kind of when the party started. It was April-ish, and 12 months later. I still think Q4 is really going to be like when the real party starts. Obviously for altcoins, definitely, but even for Bitcoin, I don't think we're even in the real bull market yet.
I don't think we're in the real altcoin super bull market yet.
And this is the super chat we needed to hit, by the way.
Yeah. I'm just leaving this here, but Josh was talking smack in the Discord. We do it all the time, TJ. We keep touching,
both clicking the button at the same time.
But just leaving this here. But Josh was talking smack in the Discord on Magic the Gathering players. DZ, I need you to fight him for me. I will challenge him in a EDH commander battle, and I'm going to cast all the power 9. I just want to make a very nerdy sentence that 90% of you guys wouldn't understand.
I'll just say this: I'll take a Magic the Gathering player over a Fortnite player any day. Any day.
We're definitely smarter. Undoubtedly smarter. Mt. Gox, originally Magic the Gathering online exchange.
There you go.
So there's a lot of overlap between Magic the Gathering and Bitcoin.
Arpellis,
has
for
been
those
for a
that
long
don't
time.
know.
There's 2 famous game tournaments that have Bitcoin as a prize. One was StarCraft, and the other was Magic the Gathering. And so, it's long been part of the ecosystem. Now, we went from Bitcoin liquidity. Let's talk about ETH liquidity over here. That's the windshield wiper method. ETH liquidity is laying around 3,000 and 3,800, preparing for a big move. So keep an eye out on that. And if we look right here, I want to hit refresh. What the heck is going on? How are my longs doing? Okay, they're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. We are now up 30% and 30%. So from 2025 to 32, might take a little profit on that. How is XRP? XRP bouncing like a freaking ledge. Bouncing like a legend off the trend line that we drew out yesterday, I believe. And this trend line, we drew it out on this video right here. I did ultimate altcoin tier list. So go watch that last night. If you haven't watched last night's video, I have XRP, I have Chainlink. See where your altcoin is. Solana's on there. Polkadot. Yeah, that's right. We talk about Polkadot.
Did you ever play StarCraft?
Yeah, I loved it. Zergling Rush
was
my cheese strategy.
Yeah.
I was never good enough for Terran, Ultimate, what do they call
Marine
it?
Micro with the tanks.
The micromanaging is just insane for a high-class South Korean StarCraft 2 player. I mean, it's like watching a wizard. It's like watching Merlin.
Did you ever play Brood War? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
Brood War was the expansion.
Yeah, I grew up on StarCraft Brood War. Actually, Brian. Brian's dad and my dad played the original StarCraft when I was like a kid, and then we grew up playing Brood War and then StarCraft 2. I played
Jim Raynor, Kerrigan.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, throw it back. Smash the like button if you played a little StarCraft, and tell us, what was your favorite race? Was it the Protoss?
I was
the
Protoss.
Terran, or the Zerg?
Let us know. But Food is Life says, TJ, can we get proof that DZ is wearing a full suit, not just the top and shorts below the camera? I cannot confirm that. I cannot give you proof. We don't. Oh, he just showed it. So there you go. It's not always the same. I'll say that. You never know what you're going to get.
It was athleisure wear, maybe below the waist there, and I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. I want to like penny loafers on. I want the full thing.
Do it, man. Go for it.
Maybe I will. And maybe even I was again making it weird. I wasn't going, let's not do that though. Let's talk about ETH though. There are 2 companies buying ETH like crazy, but I have a visualization for this that's really going to make you bullish. So Bitmine, they got 560 ETH, 2 billion, SharpLink, 1.3. ETH Foundation only has, I didn't know this. ETH Foundation is now less than $1 billion in ETH.
Mm-hmm. And people still talk about it like their ability to crash the price.
Yeah, they act like it's Satoshi's wallet or something. At this point, it's nothing. What's the ETH market cap? ETH market cap is 445 billion. They have less than 1 billion. That's about 0.225%. If I had to just do rough back of the napkin math, so bullish. Less than 1/4%.
Very bullish.
Very, very bullish. You're not going to be dumping like you think. Now, I said I have a cool graphic for this. Check this out. Look at this. SBAT Capital 1 out of 5. This does not look like 20% to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should only go there. See, now I'm actually picking apart this. I don't even like this graphic. This one is actually too much. 0.25 out of 5%. So this one should be like going all the way like over here. ETH machines. All right. This one he finally got right. Zero. Then we have this one, 30 out of 250. This is going to be roughly 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, again, this sucks. Never mind. But this is just a good encapsulation. Like, again, this is actually, it looks a lot more bullish than this because it'd be just a little sliver right here. Companies are still loading up.
The numbers are right, but the visual representation
the numbers are great.
Not accurate. Yeah.
There's a lot of capital still to be deployed. And just thinking about ETH only having 870 million, the ETH Foundation, very bullish. There's not enough ETH to go around. And especially when the freaking president won't stop buying all the ETH. President Trump's World Liberty Financial, they bought another $2 million. This is about 4 hours. This is 3 a.m. They're doing it like in the wee hours of the night. And so to me, this is Barron. It's clearly Barron. He was up at 3 a.m. He was like, I'm just going to buy some. Someone found the StarCraft thing. 5th to 8th place got 25 Bitcoin.
Yep.
First place, I want to say, was $50.
Yeah, that's what's funny is I remember Jeremy talking about being in Magic tournaments where you got like 25 Bitcoin for like you got like first place got like $100, second place got like two pizzas, and third place got like 25 Bitcoin. And most of the time people are like, can I get a slice of that
the
pizza?
Magic one has pizza as one of the
yeah.
Pizza over, go to the full screen. Pizza over this. Wait, full.
I don't have it.
Full camera. Can't do it. Oh. Pizza
Oh.
over that.
Gotcha. I see.
Pizza over that. I'm trying to like get it where, there we go. Pizza. Now, Bitcoin. We got all the coins here. I'm liking what I'm seeing. We don't break it down every now and then. We got the penguin. We got a little snake energy. And TJ, people are probably wondering about this skateboard.
Yeah.
Know nothing about it. You got a little 30-second breakdown on what that is?
Do what you love, artist. He's just an artist that's been in Bitcoin for a long time. I just met him at the Bitcoin conference years ago.
You paid 1 Bitcoin for that.
No, I didn't pay 1 Bitcoin. Well, I've got a much bigger one that we've got in the office in a different place, like kind of his full paintings that he does. I just like that style of stuff. He's a Bitcoiner. That one wasn't. He threw that one. We threw that one in when I bought the bigger one. So I just like it. So that's pretty much
people are, saying, I'm not mad at Chris Larsen. I was just trying to give a nice solution to the pissed off community. The community is pissed off. I'm kind of agnostic towards it. I don't really hold it anymore. So if he wants to sell, he could sell. I just think if he were to put it into the RWA ecosystem, just buy some freaking gold. And if there's not an avenue for that, create the system. You clearly know how to run a company. You created, co-founded XRP, Ripple Labs. I think you'd be able to pull something off like that. So put it in some U.S. treasuries. Help us out. Our debt no one wants to buy it. But let's talk about ETH, and everyone wants to unstake it. I have some warnings for you folks, because ETH is stumbling as the ETH validator exit queue hits an 18-month high. We're going to describe what the heck is an ETH validator exit queue. I'm sure not everyone is familiar with this. So ETH dipped more than 7% as the queue for validators and investors to unstake the asset hit an 18-month high on Wednesday. So if you don't know, ETH is a proof of stake network. The way that works is it requires validators to stake ETH and lock up the funds to secure the network. And so you get $1 million worth of ETH and you lock it up. And if you're trying to be a bad actor, like, I don't want to, let that transactions go through, you kind of don't earn your reward. So you're incentivized to be a good actor in this validator network. So validators that want to exit ETH's staking system, basically people who staked ETH and they want to exit the system, they need to go through an exit queue. And in the past few days, the number has absolutely surged. Right now, there's $2.34 billion lined up to leave with an 11-day wait. We have the visualization right here. You can see the queue to leave earlier, even midway through the month. 0 queue. You just basically, hey, I want to unstake. Here you go. It's instantly. It's probably within the same 11-second block. You're like, oh, wow, that was pretty fast. Then it shot up to, let's see. Now we're looking at the queue. This is the time. So yeah, on the 16th, 0 time. It went to like 0.03% of a day. Okay. Then it went to 1.5 days very, very quickly within 2 days. Within 3 days, we're at 4 days. And you fast forward to today, we are now 11-day wait time. But There's also an entry queue. If you want to enter in, is going to take you 5 days. So we're seeing more people want to exit than there's people wanting to enter. And this is the amount of validators right there. So you can kind of see the visualization there. And unstaking could mean they want to sell ETH, but it might not always be the case there. Now, despite the exodus, there's 1.2 on the entry queue, $1.2 billion worth. And additionally, this has significantly increased since early June. Why is the entry increasing? Well, the ETH treasury companies started aggressively accumulating, and the majority of these firms have said they will stake ETH for additional yield. So right now it's a battle. This is literally a battle between the bulls and the bears. Right here, the bears kind of taken control, TJ. Now,
Yes.
do you think 11 days from now, this is going to spark a lot of profit taking, which harms ETH's price?
Say that last part again.
Like in 11 days, all this ETH hits these wallets. They can then take it to an exchange and sell it. Is this going to have a negative impact on ETH's price?
No, I don't think this really has as much to do with selling. I think this is a lot more to do with DeFi and some of the different arbitrage plays that are available in there. I think it was you and I talking about it yesterday. The Justin Sun withdrawing a lot of that ETH from Aave. I think that's what, in a lot of ways, is triggering a lot of this stuff. So there's a rough timeline here of Justin Sun pulls ETH supply from Aave, utilization spikes ETH borrow rates on Aave, which we saw people where you were getting 5-6% on your ETH. Staked ETH loopers and are now unprofitable, so they start deleveraging. A bunch of the deleveraged staked ETH hits staking withdraw Q. This is what you were just talking about. The Q depegs basis points. Loopers are now forced to either take this hit on the 10x or lose money on the position. But now they're stuck. At the time this was written, it was 18 days. This is a result of all of that. So that when you get somebody moving billions of dollars out of these different things, and it kind of breaks a couple of these arbitrage plays that are happening, then you see big money all trying to reposition at the same time. It's not to dump ETH, it's to unwind certain arbitraged positions. And that's what I think what's going on there. So I think it will all settle itself out within, a couple weeks.
Right. Well, there you go. Yeah, we were talking about that on Tuesday. Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. Now, speaking of Aave, they just hit a second peak for their lending fees yesterday. It looks like they made $20 million. I think this is a weekly sum. So yeah, they're starting to pull in a lot of serious income. I think a lot of retail is going to see ETH as the beta play to Bitcoin, and they're going to see Aave as the beta play for ETH, especially since it's Donald Trump's favorite DeFi protocol. If you don't know, World Liberty Fi partnered with Aave. They uses Aave's infrastructure, and in exchange, Aave gets 20% of the World Liberty Fi revenue. And there's a lot of people are going to be bullish on Aave soon.
There's just a huge demand on it right now too, on from institutions. If you look at the flows here, the ETF flows, flipped Bitcoin flows every day for the past 5 days. If you're looking at the total categories here, it was a couple days of inflows and then outflows for Bitcoin, but we've seen huge numbers of inflows here on ETH. So I think in a lot of ways, some stuff's getting unstaked to get moved. You got these Ethereum treasury companies happening now. And really, there's just more demand on ETH. A lot of what we saw with Bitcoin has now shifted to Ethereum, which is the whales and the smart money are in accumulation mode. And I'm hoping, for my own sake, that we can kind of extend this accumulation a couple more months and then really start running away in Q4. Which is kind of what we saw with Bitcoin. It kind of stayed in a prolonged accumulation period before we started to see some price action. I'm hoping we see something similar.
I don't want to say determination. I have a probabilistic outlook that we are going to pump for at least 2 more months. Of course, we might get some dips and maybe even a little mini crash in the meantime, but we got a major catalyst 2 months from now that is very good for your altcoins, very good for Bitcoin. And it's Sam Bankman-Fried, everybody. FTX is going to begin a third payout period here, and this time is going to be about $2 billion. And so they have scheduled their next distribution to the creditors using funds that are no longer classified as disputed claims. There's some disputed claims. They had to get through that. Once it was non-disputed, then they can start paying it out to the victims of the exchange there. And so the Recovery Trust announced that the next phase is going to start September 30th. so I guess kind of October. They will determine eligible claim holders based on a record date of August 15th. So if you are in this process, you have until August 15th to get your ducks in a row. And then it looks like payouts are going to start towards the end of September. This is going to be the third round of repayments. They did 1.2 in February and $5 billion in May. And now it's going to be 1.9 billion is going to be distributed to the allowed holders there. Now there is some interesting data on which altcoins are going to perform well based off some of this stuff. So April bottom, what's the month after April, TJ?
April, May.
And when was the last time they did a big payout?
May.
All right. Well, let's look at from the April bottom. These are the coins that did that have done well. I'm just interested in your thoughts here. Bitcoin 65%, ETH has gone up 180%, XRP has pumped 125, Solana 115, Doge 120. Hype 425, Fartcoin 360, number one, Pengu. What's not going to be, what's on next list here? So like after maybe a local bottom, we get distributions towards the end of September, early October. What's going to be the ones that are going to be like, oh man, that coin has gone up how much since the last bottom?
You know, this is another bullish thesis for Bonk.
Bonk. I like Bonk. I also like Chainlink for, major cap, large cap. I like Bonk for the more speculative play. Gone. He's gone, folks. So this is now the DZ takeover, everybody. So now let's talk about Cardano. Hurry, talk about Cardano while you can.
I'm back.
Oh, man. Almost. Tao, one of the entries here. What's going on, J Chains? Good morning. Make sure you go follow J Chains there.
So I think Sol ecosystem, you look at beta play, Solana might actually overperform. I know a lot of the people at FTX were big Solana holders. So I'd check the Solana ecosystem, Fartcoin being in that. Hype would be another one. I wouldn't be shocked if it continues to perform well. A lot of big traders run FTX for the trading experience.
Maybe ETH keeps pumping. I mean, BlackRock, it's their favorite thing, so maybe it's ETH.
Yeah, I could see ETH.
Maybe ETH is looking more like a 200%. I don't know if it could do that 2 times in a row, but it'd be from a local bottom. So maybe, it depends on how bad it dips as well. But let's talk about this was a fun story we did a while ago. These guys are like the Robin Hood of crypto. They tricked the MEV bots. You ever do a trade, especially like, illiquid Solana meme coin or, a very small market cap coin on Ethereum on, you're on Uniswap and you'll see, oh, it looks like some bot like front ran my transaction. I tried to buy $100 worth of a coin. They bought it for $95 and then sold me that $95 worth for $100. And shit, they just made like $5 off me. That's what a MEV bot does. These bros, they tricked the MEV bots. They gave the MEV bots their own medicine, but now they must face trial. There's 2 smart guys from MIT, and it looks like they're facing wire fraud charges, $25 million in profit here. And so they have failed to get these charges dismissed in court, and they're saying there is a cryptocurrency theft from the Ethereum blockchain. Oh, I guess when you're stealing from bots, you can't steal from people, so you just stole it from the chain. The federal government charged them in May of last year with operating this fraudulent scheme where they exploited MEV bots and they got $25 million worth of ETH. They executed a first of its kind exploit. They netted the haul in just 12 seconds by using their computer science expertise, by manipulating the MEV bots, by luring them into trades, and then interfering with their validation process. MEV bots stands for maximal extractable value. These bots are designed to front run your transaction to profit off the fees from the priority transactions. And they had a 4-step plan. They bait the bot, they block it from selling, they search and then propagate. And they had 16 validators using 500 ETH to execute the scheme where they would lure the bots and then basically do what the bots did to you. And I want them to just be free. I just wanted to share that story because, free the brothers. Free the bros. They're trying to help us out. They're the Robin Hood of crypto. Now, you're talking about Solana.
Those are also probably the same guys wrecking you on Pump Fund, though. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, they made the bot that made the bot that's wrecking you, everybody. Solana is about to get a huge upgrade. The capacity is going to go up 20%. I don't go too deep into the weeds of the technicalities here. Simply means the Solana network can now fit more transactions per block. This is a better assessment than the article, in my opinion. So it's now 20% bigger. So every transaction consumes resources. These resources are called CUs. Stands for compute units. Think of it like fuel for a car. Every transaction consumes a different amount of compute units depending on the complexity. Similar to ETH and gas fees, you do some very convoluted DeFi transaction, it's going to use a lot of gas. If you're just sending someone some ETH, it's a little bit of gas. And so instead of gas, they call it CUs. So when a Solana block is produced, it has a capacity of how much CUs it can include. Capacity used to be 48 million, meaning the sum total of all transactions for a given block must be around this number. In the past, we increased it to 50, just a gradual increase, make sure nothing breaks. And then now it is increased to 60 million, meaning there's now more transactions per block, 20% more to be exact. And the goal is to at least double this number going forward. More transactions equals lower fees, given the same demand and more expressiveness for developers and better user experience for users there. So Solana just upgrading and upgrading.
Yeah,
folks.
and it basically what they're really trying to do, it's not as much about the fees and transaction, in my opinion, is trying to solve for a very, very bloated blockchain. You know, their blockchain is really bloated, and this is a somewhat of a temporary fix to, and this was something that Bitcoin went through years ago, the block hash wars that kind of spawned into Bitcoin Cash. That was the big debate. Bitcoin Cash, people thought we need to make blocks bigger to fit more transactions. Bitcoin Core community didn't, and so Bitcoin Core ended up winning. But Solana definitely has an extremely bloated blockchain. If you think about where it's going to be in 10 years with even similar, if it grows anywhere close to the level of transactions that they are aspiring to, it's going to get to a point where very few people can actually run the software to validate it. You know, and that's part of the decentralization conversation of, do you want everybody to be able to validate your blockchain, or do you only want, 10 institutions to do it? And that it's going to be, I think that will play out very interestingly with human psychology over these next 10 years. But I think smart money goes where the hard money is.
All right. I see some people talking about a Solana candle. I just want to share real quick. Then I'm going to read the super chat. They're saying it's a bearish engulfing in yesterday's daily. I prefer a bearish engulfing to consume to engulf two candles. This one didn't even wick into the bottom of the second candle body. So a lot of people are saying, oh, this is confirmation. Solana's going to dump, retest this trend line. I am not so sure. I'm coming in a little bit more bullish on Solana. Now, we do have a $2 super chat. Self-custody Bitcoin versus third-party custody BTC IRA. So the answer is not maybe the one you want, but it's going to be both because it depends on your timeline. So if you have Bitcoin you want to sell in 2 years, maybe try to catch, take some profits, get a real estate, buy a car or something like that. You definitely want to do self-custody. But if you're looking at your forever stack, your Bitcoin that you want to pass to your children, Bitcoin that you want to retire on, it is definitely tax advantageous to use Bitcoin IRA. We do have a link down below for Bitcoin IRA. You can see them right there. And we also, if you want to self-custody your Bitcoin, we also have an ad I think we're going to run right now.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.
You like Bonk, but not XRP. I can say Bonk is going to go up and not be like, I love Bonk. I just think Bonk is going to do very, very well. Eric Zamara, thank you for the $2 little sticker there. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. If you really want to help support the channel, smash that like button. We're going to go work on some more content. We got another live stream coming in a couple hours, and then we got another live stream after that, potentially. And folks, if you didn't watch the altcoin tier list last night, highly recommend that. I rank them. Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to be reading the comments in about 4 hours and just see, hey, this should have been F tier. This should have been S tier. You got it wrong. We'll take in that information. Maybe we'll talk about it in the member stream tomorrow. That's all we got.